Hello everybody, my name is King Maff, and today we're going to be talking about the easy, rare Google cars that are worth learning. We will have a part 2 and potentially a part 3 to this series, where we talk about the intermediate and the hard versions of these Google cars that are worth learning. Today we're focusing on distinct vehicles, as well as other modes of transport like horseback, camel, and ox. Now, these are easy to remember, and they're generally stuck in one spot. Seeing these vehicles can take you from a score of 1,200 to potentially 5,000. We're going to show you not only what these cars look like, but where they can be found. So sit back, relax, and get ready for a Geoguessr video. We are going to start with Santa Catalina Island. It is south of Los Angeles, California. There are two varieties of the same car here. One has an open sunroof. You can clearly see into the vehicle. It is the only place in the world that has an open sunroof on Google Street View. However, not too far away on the same island is the same car with the sunroof closed. Just because the sunroof isn't there does not mean it can't be this island. In fact, this kind of tannish gray is a good clue, as well as this roof rack on top, that you are Santa Catalina Island. The open sunroof is just another factor that tells you it has to be that island. Our next rare car worth learning is in Leticia, Colombia. It is the furthest point south in Colombia that you can go, and it follows a single avenue, Carrera 10, up and down past Calle 9, all the way up as far as it goes. When we click in, you will notice a very unique car. It does not have a roof. We actually don't know what this vehicle is supposed to look like, and the guy in the back of the car is in every single shot. The furthest back the coverage goes is to Calle 9, so that's the furthest back you can go. If you can't move, then this is Calle 9. It's a good way to orient yourself if you are playing a moving game. If you're not, at least you know you're in between about 5 different roads. And it should help you go from 1,200 points from guessing in Colombia to nearly a perfect score. Further south, along the Chile-Argentina border, northeast of Santiago, is a place where you can find some horseback coverage right along the border. It will be on both the Chile side as well as the Argentinian side. You can come in and look around and clearly see that it is a very dry landscape. It feels like the Andes Mountains. There is this white cooler on the back of the horse, and you can even see the front of the horse as well as the guide in front of you. Horseback coverage is not something you can see very often on Street View, so finding the horseback coverage as well as the landscape is a good clue you're on the Chile-Argentina border. After doing the horseback coverage, we can't get away with not talking about the camel coverage. South in the United Arab Emirates is a spot where you can find yourself on top of a camel. You can even see the shadow, making sure you know for a fact you are riding a camel. You can see the guy walking the camel in front of it, as well as these vast dunes. There's not much here to help you pinpoint a location, but knowing if you're on a camel or not can help you get the general region of the UAE and save you a few points here and there. Further south in Kenya, we could actually find the rare Kenyan car. Now, this is talked about over on GeoTips, as well as the Uganda car that's marked over here. This is in the Liwa Wildlife Conservancy. You can see the back of the vehicle. It is rather squared, and it is this eggshell white. Now, this was the first coverage that ever took place in Kenya, and it is classified as a Kenya Rare Car. Seeing this as well as the region, and with knowing that it also takes place up here in the Subaru Trails, can help you recognize Kenya. As we move to Kenya's neighbor, Uganda, it's worth knowing that every single one of these national parks has a very similar car. We only chose this one because of the example shown. It is the same Ugandan car you can normally find, the difference being the black push bar in the front. Recognizing the black push bar is a good clue and can definitely help you choose a natural park instead of the typical Kampala to Entebbe region. Heading over to the island of Madagascar, we have 2 different vehicles that are worth knowing. The first is the vehicle. It is just north of the Avenue of the Baobabs on RN8. It is a very unique vehicle, and we can see 3 men, with one of them being the trekker taking the pictures on the back. This front style of the car, as well as the cone for the air intake, can only be found on this road, and somewhere down the line, the man in blue changes places with the current trekker. So you can tell which part of the road you're on based on who is taking the pictures. Further south in Madagascar, you will find ox coverage. You will end up on an oxen cart. You have 2 ox walking along, a few boys in the back. Nothing special about it. Just know that if you ever find some ox, you are south of Ad and Vandoka. I'm terrible at pronouncing things, so sorry for the butcher. It is this single stretch right here. Everything else has no ox. Sticking with African countries, we are going to Kruger National Park in South Africa. Kruger National Park has a camo car. It has a camo paint job. It is a truck. And seeing the camo is a good clue. Now, there aren't any road signs in this park to help you pinpoint which road you're on. But seeing the camo paint job should be more than enough to get the correct region down in South Africa. Heading over to Southeast Asia, we're going to start in Thailand. Now, this rare car in Thailand only exists in the southern part near Malaysia. There is a weird pinkish reddish rain guard on the left and right of the vehicle. Some blurs you can see both. The one that we currently have, you cannot. But you can also see the push bar in the front, which also has a red, the same color actually, bug guard or splash guard on the front of the vehicle. While this might not be the best example, this is the most common that you will see. And just recognizing this color rain guard over the window should be more than enough to realize that it is South Thailand. Moving next to the Philippines, there is a rare car on the southern island over by General Santos. It is actually a black truck with some black rain guards and a roof rack. Not something you typically see in the Philippines. However, recognizing this metal bar with the rope tied on, as well as the black truck and the black rain guards, should tell you you're in the General Santos region. And it could save you a lot of points because now you're guessing the correct island and the correct region in the Philippines. Finally, we're going to talk about some train coverage. There's not that much train coverage in the game, but there have been plenty of Reddit posts that talk about the train coverage that people are finding. I thought it would be worth talking about them, as well as the differences you can find in those trains. The first one we're talking about is in Switzerland. It's in the southeast part of the country, over by Alp Grum, over by a few of the ski slopes around here. If we click on it, it will be a red car, as well as a guy in a racing seat. This is actually a racing seat for vehicles. He's strapped down and he essentially rides the front of the train. There are some tunnels that you can find. The important thing here is this red kind of tarp. I don't know what the best word for that would be. If you find the red tarp as well as the landscape is actually the biggest clue here. You know you have to be in Switzerland. The other 2 places that have trains are both in India. You can actually find a train in the north as well as the south of the country. It is official street view coverage, and the 2 trains are actually different as well as the landscape. We'll start with the one in the north. The one in the north, you have this wooden platform on the front. You don't see a seat, so we don't know if somebody is actually strapped to the front, although it's assumed that nobody is. And we have this black train front with the yellow X. You don't see this on the train in the south. And if you look at the landscape, you can pretty much tell you're not in Switzerland. So at this point, it's recognizing the wooden platform versus the one in the south, which is a red platform. You can also see 2 guys sitting in this booth over here. It's not the same red as the one in Switzerland, as well as the landscape definitely not being Swiss. But 2 different trains, 2 different rail lines covered, and more than enough information to hopefully help you guys recognize some of these rare cars in the game. Now, I did mention earlier that we will be doing another part to this series with intermediate and expert level vehicles. If you did not see a vehicle that you thought you might see today, it could be in another episode. So make sure you like, subscribe, and follow the channel for all of your Geoguessr needs, including opportunities for you guys to play along. But that is going to be where we call it for the day. So thank you all so much for being here. I hope this was insightful. I hope you learned something. And I look forward to seeing you guys all next time. But until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. And bye-bye.